Sound off, sound off. This is a bewildering and a shocking sound off today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, gentlemen, wherever you are, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, wherever you are around the world. Okay, are you ready for today's sound off? We have cops who are on camera punching out, first of all, fighting with some drunk patrons of a wedding, and then punching out a woman, basically knocking her out to the ground where she falls and she hits her head on the pavement when that's happened. This took place in Newport, Rhode Island, the great state of Rhode Island. But before we get into that, let's bring in our panel activists, co-producer and co-host of the Esteban Hours Weekend Review, Jeremy Baker, life and fitness coach, Justin Rowland, and Lady D, contributor of the Esteban Hour podcast. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, so you've seen this new footage that has emerged of police fending off drunken wedding guests who started the brawl. Apparently, they're the ones that started it when a bar refused to let them in. They refused them entry, and they became belligerent and violent. When one woman in between this brawl attempted to grab one of the police officers' guns. Now, we're gonna see the tape. We're gonna see the videotape now. The question is were the actions of the police officer warranted versus the actions of the drunken, who I might say they were drunk. Also, take a look at this video and notice how cops, they drew their guns really fast. I mean, it was scary. They took out their guns and was pointing it. Watch this video.
Are you serious? What?
Okay.
Psych.
So I lied. Sorry. There were no guns or weapons that were drawn. That's number one. If everyone noticed that. Can someone tell me another difference besides no weapons drawn out? Another difference with this video or this type of crowd? What is not there? Who's not? What type of people is not in this video?
Black people.
I think I see what you're getting at here.
Black people.
Are we playing this game?
We're playing the game.
Yeah. Right.
So that's why there were no guns that were drawn, because there were no black people.
Exactly.
Yeah, apparently white people aren't threatening when they're beating the living shit out of cops.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
What else do you want? Like, we show police shootings all the time on this show where black people, or even just black or brown people, being mistreated by the cops for nothing. I think the one we had was over a $7 cake, and they literally arrested this person, threw him on the ground and all this stuff. And these people are reaching for guns, kicking him in the nuts. The girl kicks the cop twice in the nuts, once from the front and then once from the back.
Yeah.
The girl that gets knocked out, which we will see in this next video, I will just say that she jumps on the back of the cop.
Can you imagine?
They effed around. They did what I always call FAFO. I'll say they fucked around and they found out. No guns were drawn. And it infuriates me that we have to show the discrepancy between how people get treated by cops when they're white and when they're not white. It's a totally different story.
It's clear. It is clear.
Cops back, what would happen to me?
Listen, and when you reach for their gun, like, so as soon as they reached for that gun, if that was shown in this video, like that is that is a game changer in this whole scene. Obviously, alcohol plays a huge role in this, but as soon as someone reaches for your gun, now we are treating this situation differently.
Well, now they are a threat, though, right? And that's
again.
Now they are official threat to you, where that would make sense, and whatever action proceeds after that, with you taking them down. I mean, I thought the first thing is usually that stun gun stuff, and I didn't even see the taser either. You know,
I don't know if they had time. I don't know if they had time to do that.
You're probably right, they didn't, but at least I feel like if you're going to diffuse it, that would still knock them out, but not, you know, that lady, as we're going to see in the next video, could have busted her skull.
Yeah.
This one's, I'll show this one since she mentioned it. This one's kind of brutal to watch. I mean, you can hear it. You can literally hear it. So just be warned.
Oh my God!
Actually,
yo, Coops, get over here, bro. Oh my God!
now she gets up, kicks him.
Koopy, get back.
Look, she's still trying to kick the cop. There again, in the nuts. Back of the gut.
Oh my God! Oh my God! You just fucking knocked her out, bro. You just fucking knocked her out.
Sorry,
bro.
I gotta play that. That was so bad.
Oh my God! Oh my God! You just fucking knocked her out, bro. You just fucking knocked her out, bro.
That was a simple solution.
You just knocked
You
her
could have
out.
tased her.
Yeah.
So I agree with Justin's terms that it's a game changer once you go for a police officer's gun. However, they were already in this brawl, so it was already known that they didn't have any weapons at all. And when this lady, it wasn't even the man, when the lady allegedly went to go reach for his gun, because we can't even really see that. We probably have to do it in slow motion in order to actually see that. But that's the alleged accusation, that she reached for his gun. If that were the truth, as Justin just said, there's a taser. She did not get the gun. One more thing I also noticed. They were in the corner handling something, and I feel, my opinion, they escalated the situation by the officer turning around and pushing the woman away. They could have and should have called for backup at that moment, okay, before pushing. The guys who were there, in my opinion, they were all drunk. But they were defending their women. He just pushed and hit his wife, and that's all you heard is how do you do that to my wife? And they're under the influence.
This is a wedding party, no less. They just got married, apparently. I believe this was a wedding party, wasn't it? They were just.
It was a wedding party, but we don't know if they were the bride and groom or if they were.
No, I know, but this wedding party, that wedding was ruined. If this was really a wedding party, they just ruined the entire wedding by this whole night. But this is to me, this shows that people are treated differently based on the color of the skin. Absolute evidence that white people and people of color are treated differently by the cops. When that girl went for that gun, she's an immediate threat. When you touch a cop, that's assault. You know what I mean? You're a threat immediately. Like, that's how they would look if they weren't white. They would have immediately, like, if you took a step towards a cop and you're not white, you're a threat. You know what I mean? It's absolutely ridiculous how different the standards are.
But regardless of color, backup should have been called. Like they were, they were outnumbered, and backup should have been called. And the taser should have been used. Fist. I mean, when you have a taser, a baton, that should be your go-to instead of knocking women out. I don't really think that was the right move, but at the same time, if we were to put ourselves in that situation when we're being attacked from every angle, and there's only two of us there and everyone else is intoxicated, there's going to be some adrenaline that kicks in, and there's going to be some steps that we learned during our training that are missed.
Yes.
We are human. We do make mistakes. You know, but when people are reaching for your gun and you're getting kicked, you know, you're getting kicked in the balls, husbands are attacking you, like literally your training may go out the window at that point. I don't know.
Mine would. I'd be like,
Yeah.
That point of view, Justin. But couldn't it be said the same on an equal manner with the intoxicated people, that they are intoxicated, and so their sense of reason at that moment might have gone out of the wall, you know, out of their heads as well.
Yes.
How do you give a defense for that for the police officers and not for those people?
That's a good point.
And I feel like the police officers are more at fault because they are put in a place of power, and they're not intoxicated. They have all their senses at their moment. So it looks like to me they stooped down to the level of the drunkards.
That's a good perspective.
And that in turn made them punch one of them out.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, obviously the girl shouldn't have tried to kick a cop in the nuts twice. The girl shouldn't have tried to jump on the cop. I mean, you just don't do that. But apparently they just, like you said, when alcohol's involved and people are wound up, anything can happen.
Right.
And especially, I mean, I usually don't take the cop's side, but on this one I'm going to. They were overwhelmed. I mean, they were getting attacked from all fronts.
She was drunk.
I don't give a shit.
Nobody in their right mind is going to kick a police officer with no shoes on unless they're not in their right mind.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. You have to realize that those people are, if they're not in their right mind, they're more dangerous than if they weren't drunk. If they weren't drunk, you could probably have diffused that situation a lot differently. But because they were a bunch of wasted people, you know, like you said, logic and reason goes out the window when alcohol's involved, especially at large volumes. So I'm sure they woke up in a jail cell or in the back of a cop car, bloodied and bruised. Like, what the hell did I just do?
With a headache.
Yep, they were arrested.
Wow.
They were definitely arrested.
And but some of them are going to have serious headaches in the morning.
My next question would be, this lady that kicked the officer from the front and the back, Lady D had mentioned it in the beginning. The officer turned around and pushed her. But if it were a black lady had did that, the officer would have turned around and shot her.
Or punched in her face.
Yeah.
Right.
It would have went differently.
The other one got a punch in the face for allegedly trying to grab his gun. But the lady who kicked him did not get punched in the face.
Of course not.
Yeah.
And I would have thought she would have got punched in the face. I mean, that's his private parts, lady.
Yeah, no kidding. That's just evil.
That's probably why he got upset, if you think about it, because we can't tell from the camera, but she might have kicked him pretty hard.
Yeah.
All right. So for ladies that don't know, that hurts. That's like hitting a button that won't make a brain shut off, and you'll just
don't tell them that.
You think we don't know?
That is awful.
How stupid do you say? What? Don't tell them. You think we don't know? Why do you think we do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
dude, if my dog like jumps up and like accidentally goes like that, I'm done for a half an hour. Like, oh dear God, kill me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
have your children sleeping with you when they're younger and they kick. I don't know if you notice, kids kick a lot when they sleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yes, as soon as you get that kick, you wake up immediately and go, fuck.
Or it's not sleep in your own room.
Yep.
Yes.
So many things are wrong with this whole video. I mean, so many things are wrong. I'm glad we were able to get two different angles, but still, it's hard to see all the stuff that's actually going on in this video.
Part of that, though, is what was the condition of the young lady who fell? Because honestly, hitting your head after cement, the gravity on that, she could have been really injured.
Well, especially the back of your head, the front of your head's super hard.
That looks like it's leaning to the side a little bit. You don't know if her neck is broken, her collarbone is broken. You know, that's very traumatic. And someone says she probably is going to sue them. I'm sure of it.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's attorneys contacting her already.
Absolutely.
Let's ask that question. do you think that lady, at least the one that's on the floor, knocked out cold, do you think that she has the right to sue? Do you think she has a law?
So you know, this would always be a tricky case when it goes to trial, because at the end of the day, the cops are basically going to say, listen, you know, what you experienced is the repercussions of you not listening, right? You know, you was unattained, we could have detained you, right? You wasn't following instructions, right?
Oh, good. Jeez.
But the other way you can look at it is the lady, she wasn't the one who jumped on his back. And if the lady who jumped on his back ain't hurt, then, you know, this lady, if I didn't see that much of her pushing anybody in there. But at the end of the day, you can't look at it like that. You know what I mean? Like, she has the right to sue. If she's injured for the rest of her life, if her spinal cord is jacked, if she can't walk, if she can't paralyze, how do you think she's going to pay for those medical bills?
True.
Yeah.
Just think about that. How you a wheelchair bound? She may need a special vehicle. You don't know how much damage they did to her for that.
And I think,
gentlemen,
and I don't want to throw a wrench in everything, but I couldn't tell from either angle. Did she get punched and got knocked out, or did she get pushed and fall and hit her head?
Exactly.
So I don't know if you could consider pushing and then she just
according
falls.
to the man on the camera, she was punched. We didn't see that necessarily, but
you heard it.
Punched.
You heard his fist hit her face. You didn't hear that. I know I heard it.
Yeah,
I thought it was her head hitting the ground.
Something.
I don't know. It's so hard to judge.
But you
now,
heard,
gentlemen,
you heard something.
Also, I noticed, and I'm just picky about these things, her phone also hit the ground at the same time. So the phone could have been the sound that we heard hitting the ground. Possibly.
So, gentlemen, I want to hear your opinion, Jeremy and Justin. If a police officer came after your wife in that manner, what would you do?
Wow. Yeah, that's you know,
that's a setup.
That's really tough. And you know, I honestly think if one were to strike my wife like that, then I will most definitely go to jail that day. And you know, that's just my personal opinion. You know, you can sit back and say, oh, well, we've got to obey the law, this and that. Yeah, I agree. And I don't go throughout my day obeying the law. But when there's a certain situation and you don't know if that cop just went through a divorce or if someone died or what mindset he was in, but that needs to be evaluated by whoever he's employed by. Like the mindset, the mental state needs to be evaluated before you send him into a situation like he was just sent into. And it escalated quickly. But if someone were to strike my wife like that, like, we are fighting. I'm sorry. Cop, you know, whether it's the cop, the president of the United States, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, it's just not, I'm not going to sit back and watch it happen. I'm sorry.
That's right. I agree with that. To apologize over. I think that's just a normal reaction. In fact, does everybody forget the slap of Chris from Will Smith? And the question there was, wasn't he defending his wife?
Now,
I kind of
verbally.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know, that was a touchy situation because of how that all went down. Yes, you know, you want to defend your wife, but there's a time and there's a place. And listen, Jada sent him out. Oh, poor thing. That was a setup.
My point of bringing that up was not to say that Will Smith was correct, because I think the majority of folks will say he was not correct, especially being that Chris Rock did not put his hands on his wife at all. But what I'm saying is that my point being is a man's reaction to defend his wife. Now, in some altercations, it is justified, and others it is not. I think we can agree that in the Will Smith situation, it possibly may not have been fully justified. But in this cop situation, your wife is actually assaulted, and by a police officer. Was it not justified?
There shouldn't be. Well, you shouldn't fold to a title or a, you know, the title and the authority shouldn't make a difference when you're protecting your family or your life. Yeah, and I'll just leave it at that.
In other words, it doesn't matter whether it's a police officer or an actor or singer, entertainer, or a regular person.
No.
It shouldn't matter. A man is going to think about his wife.
That's the same thing with your children. Same exact thing with your children.
Yes.
I'm not married, so I'm probably the last person to ask this question too, because I'm a little bitter about the whole thing. Like, if my wife would get attacked, obviously, yes, I would probably react very similarly. Now, if my wife did some dumbass shit and grabbed the cop's gun, I'd be like, call me from jail. I'll put some money on your books for you.
Yeah.
You can have some ramen noodles and some Cheetos and make yourself
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
You're gonna send her a care package?
I will send you. Yeah, I'll call you. I'll send you a phone card. You can call me. We can talk. But I'm not going to jail for you, dumbass. If you're going to grab a cop's gun, there's limits. You know what I mean? That's I think when some women don't understand this because they expect their man to defend them no matter what, and I think that's bullshit. Because if you're going to do something just to get your man involved and get him in trouble because you're a loudmouth drunk, no. You go to jail. I'm going home and chilling and watch some Netflix with the dogs.
I think
call me when you get your phone call.
I think I would have dual personality at that moment. At one moment, I'm like, "Why did you just hit my wife? You just knocked my wife out. What the hell is wrong with you? Why would you grab his gun? No, you are a cop. You should know better. Your ass is grass."
Yeah.
That's all right. You're like the mediator of an awful situation. That's hilarious.
Because the truth of the matter is, wants to feel protected and loved and secured in their relationship, right?
True, very true.
Your husband is your life partner, your friend, your confidant. You understand what I'm saying? And you want to feel protected, and that's his role. That's his role as the head of the family, and you expect him to protect him. But I agree with you. There are some women that put themselves in certain situations that it's unnecessary and put everybody in the family at risk because doing certain things and having this certain attitude and persona, it's not necessary. If you go and grab a gun, no disrespect, I'm with you guys on that. I would say, babe, I see you later. I mean, because why would my husband did it? If my husband did it, why? Even if you're drunk, there's some decorum. If a cop pulls you over and you drive and you're drunk, you don't straighten up. You don't try to act like you can sing A through Z. You know what I mean? You don't try to walk on the line straight. Yeah. So even if you're drunk, and I want to say that before, even if you're drunk, and you may not be fully, aware, you're cognizant.
Yeah.
He's a police officer, right? You can't miss the uniform. You can't miss that. So again, unless it's not necessary, of course I want my husband to defend me, but I wouldn't put him in a situation that puts the whole family at risk.
Right, because you respect him. You respect the relationship. You know what I mean? If you put your husband or spouse in that kind of situation, to me, you don't respect the entire relationship in general, because you're just putting him in danger for no reason.
For no reason. And both of you going to jail. So you better hope you ain't got kids at home. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. I didn't even think of that.
Seriously, you better hope both of you don't go to jail. If you got children at home, okay, you may have a nanny or babysitter for that night. Date night went left.
Right.
Yeah, they use their one call to call the babysitter and tell her we're in prison.
Here's some more background on the story. So they were refused entry into this bar because they were drunk. And apparently one of the men got into a fight with the bar staff and punched a member of the bar staff. The police were called, and then I believe that same man got into a rift with the cop and punched the cop. And that was when he was arrested. And as they were trying to arrest him, the rest of the group got into it. And that's how it started. And they eventually arrested 6 individuals.
Wow.
I just wanted to add this, just when you said that, just a little cherry on top, you have to be pretty smashed to be refused entry to a bar.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be physically stumbling, intoxicated, like.
Good point. Yeah.
Excuse me. You have to be pretty smashed to kick an officer in the behind and in the nuts with no shoes on.
But that should prove how intoxicated they actually were at the time. I mean,
hey, if you
get rejected from a bar, you are already way too drunk. Because if you could walk straight and not wobble, you can get into a bar. It's not that hard. You know what I mean? You have to be shit
if you have
get refused from a bar.
If you get to the point at night where you have no shoes on, it's time to go home. You know, like you need to go home. Yeah, like your night is over. Just call it quits.
But now, if all 6 of y'all are equally intoxicated, they're all saying together, "Woohoo! Woohoo! Let's move on to the next one." Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
understood.
Man.
Understood.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, it's going to be an experience, a night for them to remember, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, with a couple of charges and definitely some lawyer activity and some cash.
Oh,
they're gonna have
wedding photos. They get wedding photos from the government or from the state. How wonderful! They get new wedding photos.
To remember forever, right?
Photos for the scrapbook.
Yep.
Okay.
Look, this is what mommy and daddy did on their wedding night.
Wow.
For real, right? For real, right? But we all know that I'm sure at the moment that they they became sober, they probably desperately regretted that situation.
Oh yeah.
Let's hope so.
That they're now
they're just really shitty
people. Some there was some fines to that, probably a little bit of time, maybe depending. Who knows what those charges were? Maybe some fines, maybe some community service, probably some community service, some money exchange, pay some fines. And depending on what your charge is, somebody got to do at least 45, 60 to 90 days.
Yeah, you might be talking some felonies in some cases, assault in the car. I don't even know what the charges are for that.
The part of her pulling his gun, if she really did pull his gun, if I'm not mistaken, that is.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a serious charge. That's a serious charge.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is that both parties here were wrong. Neither one of them deserve a defense, to be honest. And there should be actions on both sides. Now, if these 6 individuals are convicted and undergo some kind of consequence, but the police do not, that's wrong. And that's what I'm sure.
Well, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
What has statistics shown?
I don't know, because it's not black people that they were dealing with. So
they put them on leave. They do an internal investigation until it blows over, and then everything goes back to the way
that they deal with the black person. In other words, when they're investigating a police officer over a black shooting, they're straight to defend. But now investigating a white police officer over a brawl that dealt with white people, they might give them some kind of consequences.
Yeah.
We should follow back up on that story.
Yeah, I'll follow up on this. I'll keep an eye on it. I want to see what happens.
I want to see what happens. I want to let you know the charges.
Definitely probation at minimum.
Definitely probation at minimum. Yes. Yeah. And I'm not saying that they should all walk away scot-free, but it has to be equal, because both of them were wrong. Each side escalated the opposite.
But that's why I said, trust me, some of that's going to be fines. You get fined for certain things. Lewdness, drunkenness, those are fines and tickets. You get some of that, maybe some probation, like Justin said, maybe some community service. Who knows? I'm curious though.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This was a great topic. Finally, we get to see a brawl that was different.
Yeah.
To say the least.
Definitely a change of pace. It was definitely different.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. We will see each other again. Okay. So a lot of different things that went on with this videotape, and we already mentioned it was a brawl of Caucasian officers against Caucasian people. It was a situation where, in our opinion, both sides didn't do justice. Both sides could have restrained a little bit. Police officers could have taken out tasers. They could have called for backup. The drunkards, I don't really know what to say about with them because they were drunk. And it's like someone who's lost their mind temporarily. Can you really reason with them? And as the officers are beating on their women, I mean, they're already drunk. What do you expect them to see? They don't see a police officer. They see that you just hit my lady. And that may be what's deemed a natural reaction, whether you agree that it should have been done or not. Okay, so with that said, if you have any questions or comments in regards to today's sound off, please do not hesitate to send them in. We respond to every comment that we get because we love engagement and we love talking with our audience members and seeing what's on your mind, even if a topic is already done and said. Okay, please share, follow, and like the Esteban Hour on all platforms that you may have, and enjoy the rest of the week, my friends. If you've got a excuse me, if you've got a goal that you've achieved or accomplished today or this week, don't forget to say to yourself, this is how we do it.